We know the bluster and threats that the ambassador was just talking about from North Korea continue this morning, but they are not at all new. In 1950, they invaded their southern neighbor, causing the Korean War, and they have struck at the United States before, and Liz Trotta covered it. For a look beyond the news, here is Liz's Sunday commentary.
2 days before Christmas in 1968, the men of the USS Pueblo came home. The crew of 82 had been prisoners of North Korea for 11 months. It was a freezing gray morning in the DMZ as, one by one, the men shuffled over the bridge of no return to the south. Also in line, a coffin bearing the body of a crewman gunned down in the attack. Echoing across the barren landscape of Panmunjom, a tape played the words of Pueblo's captain, Commander Lloyd Bucher, confessing to a trumped-up crime. As a young reporter covering this story, the solemn drama could not be missed. One could only feel a sense of relief that these bedraggled, half-starved men had survived the kind of torture and brutality North Korea has made its exquisite specialty. The Vietnam War was still raging, so the attack on a U.S. Navy spy ship in international waters only opened up another front in the war against communism. In truth, we all endured a silent shame that morning, and the realization that not only was North Korea an intractable enemy, but a confident and ruthless state reveling in maniacal diplomatic roulette. Now, 45 years after the Pueblo attack and 60 years after the end of the Korean War, that country of quiet madmen has rattled us again. With more than 28,000 American troops poised to cross the DMZ, U.S. forces, hostage Israeli, function as the tripwire into chaos. They've been there since the end of the Korean War in 1953, allowing Kim Jong-un, the current chubby dictator of the North, to indulge his passion for brinksmanship, as his fathers did before him. All of this raises the much-debated but never settled question of how much real or imagined lunacy we can tolerate. Frankly, South Korea's formidable army is seasoned enough to fight its own battles. Our country can no longer afford military largesse based on a triumphant past. The seeds of North Korea's periodic tantrums were sown long ago. The great commander, Douglas MacArthur, warned repeatedly there is no substitute for victory. Yet President Truman agreed to a stalemate instead of taking the war across the Yalu bridges into China. There is still no signed peace treaty. Today, although the numbers are flexible, estimates indicate that American forces are deployed in roughly 150 countries on some 1,000 bases. The precise amount of trillions this costs eludes us. We're still operating as though World War II ended yesterday, with some 54,000 U.S. troops in Germany, 40,000 in Japan, and 10,000 in the UK. Yes, we recognize the pivot to Asia in the face of Chinese progress. At the same time, it's apparent the reach of Pax Americana is overextended. Terrorism requires our money and attention in the Middle East and Africa, not Europe or South Korea, where we would suffer no strategic or mortal loss. If deterrence is the reason for American military omnipresence, then how did Benghazi happen? Didn't we have enough crack troops and airplanes all over the globe to take care of 4 Americans? So we are left debating the key question in our current predicament. Is Mr. Kim a lunatic, or is his very strategy to appear to be a lunatic? The usual informed sources insist that the latest hysteria from Pyongyang will not scare us into providing more aid to them, as we have in the past. No more Mr. Nice Guy, they say. Don't believe it. As long as U.S. troops watch over the DMZ, the Hermit Kingdom will test the tripwire. One wonders what the surviving men of the Pueblo were thinking. It's 1968 again, and America is humbled.